So this classic wooden speedboat I found abandoned on my way home from work. It was discarded on top of a construction container, and the shape just really caught my eye, and I decided I couldn't let it go to waste. So I called a friend who did warn me that the most expensive kind of boat is a free boat, but we went for it anyway and brought it to my workplace. So flipping it over immediately reveals the main issue and the reason why it was abandoned. The bottom of the boat is fully rotten away, so the first major project is restoring the skeletal structure of the boat and making sure that the hull is completely watertight again. Here we go. Starting with the front rib, I made a cardboard template, traced that onto 12mm water resistant plywood and cut it out using my jigsaw. I then proceeded to flush cut the rotten piece of the keel using my Japanese pool saw so that I have something clean to attach the new rib to. Next up, I'm measuring the width and curvature of the middle rib so I can cut that out of the same plywood. Having installed the front and rear ribs, I'm now able to complete the keel, so I'll be able to eyeball what the shape should be. I put a piece of cardboard, traced it there onto the plywood, doubled up the plywood since the keel needs to be extra strong, and lastly, using my belt sander, I'm able to get the final shape and dimensions of the keel before installing it. I'm then creating some space for an aluminum bracket that is used to keep the new and the old keel properly attached to each other. This part will take a lot of the impact of hitting the water, so it needs to be proper sturdy. And then it's time for the glue up. I'm using construction glue along with stainless steel fasteners and some stainless steel screws to put everything in place. And here you can see the final result. Quite happy with how sturdy everything's looking so far. Next up is the plywood. I'm using 6mm for the whole bottom of the boat. And here I'm using my track saw at a 45-degree angle to get a clean initial cut to get the new plywood to attach to the existing plywood. Using my Japanese pool saw, I'm just cleaning everything up and also removing these rotten slats. So some of the slats that run from front to the back of the boat also need to be replaced. I've got new pieces of hardwood for that, and I'm using dowels to attach them. So first off, I'm hammering in a nail that I'm cutting off with some pliers, and then I'm hammering that into place, leaving an imprint on the wood of where the dowel needs to be. I will then get my pliers, pull out the nail, and then using my drill, I start diagonally then going along the wood, and I've also marked on the drill how deep I should be drilling. That will receive the dowel. I can now dry fit it, and once I'm happy with that, I'll glue it all up. So the rib in the back of the boat is also partially rotten. So here I'm checking where the rot is and where I should be making my cuts. You can really hear the difference. And here I'm doing the glue up of the rear rib. This is the final piece of the skeleton of the boat. I'm really starting to feel the structural integrity of the boat now, specifically attaching all the slats that run front to back and also making sure that the keel is sturdily in place. This will give me the structure to attach all of the plywood for the bottom of the boat too. And here's it all done. Also varnished with a specific boat lacquer to protect it from any water ingression. Next up is the plywood. I'm sliding the new piece under the existing piece of plywood using that 45-degree cut that I made, and loosely fitting it, I'm now able to trace the specific outline of the board that I need. I then cut it out and fasten it into place using construction glue and stainless steel screws. And here it is, the first piece of ply put into place. So after a satisfying day of work, cheers. The little additional rotten cutout also needs to be replaced with its own little piece. I'm tightening it down using glue and screws, but also clamping it to make sure that it sits flush with all different sides of the boat. And now the hard part starts. So the front of the boat is bending in 2 different directions, and I need to shape my plywood to be able to accommodate that without cracking. So here I'm using boiling water under tension to get a rough shape of the piece of plywood. I'm then tracing it, cutting it out to get slightly better shape. And then finally I am using this specific jig that I made to be able to trace the outline of the hull and copy that onto the piece of plywood. Now it's time to screw everything into place. So I'm using construction glue, pressing the piece under the 45-degree angle of the previous plywood, and then inching my way from back to front using stainless steel screws, glue clamps, and plenty of adhesive to make sure everything's put properly into place. I'm going slowly since I don't want to be cracking the piece of plywood that I just worked so hard on to get to the perfect shape. And that's the starboard side done. Thankfully I was smart enough to transfer this template onto another piece of plywood in its mirror image so that I could much easier get the port side done as well. Now repeating the same process on the opposite side, I've tightened the piece into place and using boiling water already bending it into the correct shape. Using this clamp with a screw, I'm able to get the shape right and then start the glue up. I've prepared 3 drills for this, 1 for drilling, 1 for countersinking and 1 for screwing. And moving from the back to the front of the boat, I'm using very little distances in between the screws in order not to stress the wood too much and risk cracking it. Now it's time to get the shape a bit more specific, so I'm using an orbital sander, and for the rougher parts again my Japanese pool saw to get the new piece as flush as possible with the existing hull. The seams now need to be filled with epoxy. It's a 2-component part that I bought in a tube, and using a spatula I'm able to get it into all the cracks. Strangely, some kamikaze pilots were attracted to the epoxy. And then for the remaining screw holes, instead of using the expensive epoxy, I'm using this polyester putty. Same thing, you just mix the resin with the hardener, and then using my spatula I'm putting it into all the different screw holes that are all alongside the boat. And here you can see how much filling needed to be done in order to get the entire hull watertight. And of course I've sanded everything flush before cleaning and degreasing all the surfaces so that it can receive the epoxy that will ensure the water tightness of the hull. So it's time for epoxy. We got the resin and the hardener. So the mix is either in volume or in weight, but roughly it's 2 parts resin to 1 part hardener. I got this mixture cup to mix it in. I got a spatula to use and some gloves. Apart from that, I'm also going to be adding blue pigment because the boat's going to be blue. So that will be the first paint layer, and you have to add 5 to 10% of this pigment to the mixture. After mix it for about 1 minute straight, gonna pour it into the container, and then with a roller be able to put it on the boat. And on top of that, I also have this glass fiber 10 centimeter wide mats on all the seams, so where the side goes into the bottom or where two pieces of plywood that are separate meet. I'll be putting some of this glass fiber on as well to ensure that there's proper strength to the whole structure, and everything else will just be fully covered in epoxy. We'll do 3 layers, and today the plan is to do 1 layer first, wait 4 hours, and that first layer is gonna have this glass fiber in it. So 1 layer with glass fiber, wait 4 hours, and then before it dries I can do a second layer on top without having to sand or degrease it in between, because it will still be slightly wet, and you can do a second layer on top of it. So for the epoxy part, I got the help of a good friend. We first started by laying down all the mats and cutting them to the direct dimensions, so we didn't have to stress about that while the epoxy is curing. And so it's on. The timer has started to run since the epoxy is curing, and we should have around 20 minutes to apply this epoxy to the boat. Some learnings that we got here were that we first put the mats down and then started rolling the epoxy over it, but then sometimes the mats would be sliding and there wouldn't be epoxy in between the wood and the mats. So a better way to do this in the future is to first lay down 1 layer of epoxy, then stick the mat over that, and then roll another layer of epoxy over that, so that it's really properly saturated. Another classic is running out of time and making too much epoxy in one batch. So it was a very hot day outside, it was almost 30 degrees, and epoxy was curing way faster than what was on the instructions. So after about 15 minutes we saw the epoxy boiling, steam coming off, it becoming really hot and just not usable anymore, and we needed to cook up a new batch in order to continue. After a nice lunch break, it was time to do the second layer. The first layer was still feeling slightly sticky to the touch, but mostly drying. And so the second layer could be applied straight onto that. There'll be a chemical cross bonding happening when the first layer still receives the second. And the other advantage is you don't have to sand and degrease in between. So during the application process, some air bubbles can form. These are easily popped using a heat gun. And so a quick reminder of how we started. This was the hull, pretty much rotten, both the skeleton and the plywood. And here we are with the finished result. All the skeleton replaced. We got nice plywood over the top, fully covered it in mats and epoxy, and the hull is watertight. Next up, we'll flip the boat over and get started on the top side. But for now, thanks for watching.